What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to Talk Sports with Jake. Hope we're doing well. Sorry haven't done many podcasts lately. I'm having some technical problems with the studio, but pretty sure I fixed those. So most likely starting tomorrow, I'll be back in the studio and things should be okay. But I want to do one virtually using a different software today, so I'm hoping this goes okay. If you like it, don't like it, let me know, because when I don't have access to the studio, this is probably what I'm going to use going forward. But also, I should have access to the studio for the most part for the next year or two, based off what's coming up for me in the future. So, but let's jump right in. We're going to do a shorter episode today. What I'm going to try to do, maybe once or twice a week, is to do like a shorter episode and just, highlighting just one topic post, just, a general sports podcast. Helps me, get some more content out there. If things come up during the day and I don't have time to, do a full show and edit it, upload it on YouTube, I can do a shorter one. So, I'm able to get it out on YouTube, a little sooner, or only other option would be, I would record a lot later, so I wouldn't get up to like 10, 11 o'clock at night. I want you guys, to stay up that late to see my podcast, so it allows me to still put out content you guys can still see go live on YouTube at 5 o'clock Eastern time. Let's jump right in. We're going to talk about Rob Manfred today. Rob Manfred has announced he will step down as commissioner of Major League Baseball after his contract ends in 2029, in 5 years' time, which I think is the right move. He overall has not been a very good commissioner. He's done a few good things, like putting the pitch clock last year was a really good move. Basically, a seamless transition. There was always going to be, some, kinks in the beginning that they had to work out. That would, whenever you try something new with, professional athletes, that was going to happen, but they worked them out very easily, and it was a very smooth transition. I don't mind him, limiting the shift. A lot of people don't like that. I don't like the shift at all. I don't mind that. You can still shift. You just have to have two guys on each side of second base, and they got it on the infield dirt. Don't mind that at all. I don't mind that he increased the luxury tax threshold, like when they came out of the lockout. Like every year, kind of like the first 3 years, they kept increasing, and then the next 2 years of it, their 5-year deal, or 6-year deal, whatever it was, it would be standard. Whatever number that was, I don't mind that. But pretty much everything else he's done, I have not liked. The lockout, he completely botched. The lockout was not all on him. I'm not saying that. The MLB was kind of, this was going to happen either way. There was both sides. The players and the owners have a lot of issues. There's a lot of deeper issues with the MLB. It's the way he handled it. Opposed to ironing out like the major stuff. The major issues with the luxury tax and things like that. Like everyone knew that the universal DH was going to come out of that. Both sides wanted that. Both sides wanted to keep the ghost runner in there for whatever reason. We'll get to that very, very shortly. But just the fact that he did like the easy stuff, like he ironed out like the universal DH first and things like that, and then didn't really address like the really, really true major issues like the luxury tax stuff till the very end. Didn't make any sense. I'm surprised they even came to a resolution in time for the season. That honestly shocked me. But thankfully, they were able to play the season last year, but the way he handled that was not very good. The actual science didn't seem like that. He completely botched. Yes, he gave a year to the manager Hinch and to the GM Lunel. But also like the bench coach Cora, who was behind the whole thing, and he was also behind the side stealing scandal for the Red Sox 2018 as their manager. And that should have gotten more than Hinch and Lunel, since he was the main guy for 2 sign stealing scandals. He got the same amount of time. He also got a year. Carlos Beltran was one of their players. He was a major part of it. He didn't get any discipline at all. And he he didn't name him until the Mets hire him as manager. That kind of screw up that whole thing for the Mets. So no one would have came out and say right when the allegations came out. So Mets and other teams, all right, let's not pursue him as a manager. He's got too much baggage. And none of the players got disappointed at all. I don't understand why. And then calling the World Receiver, he called the World Receiver a piece of plastic a few years back. I think it was around that time. That was just a pathetic comment. There's so many players and coaches and executives and owners who would, who would die for that trophy. Obviously not literally, but you guys know what I mean. Just that was a horrible comment. This comments on that age relocation just. I mean, that only happened last season, so at that point, it was like, all right, it's kind of what we expected from this guy. But the fact that we expect this guy to come off as kind of just bleh is a problem. The Ghost Runner rule, don't understand why he kept that in place. I got it in 2020. That was a really weird year for everybody. With the shortened season, only 60 games, and the height of COVID, there was going to be a lot of injuries because of the shortened spring training and the shortened season, and how they're going to handle when guys got COVID with them being quarantined. Hopefully not having a whole team get quarantine, which ended up happening a couple of times, like with the Philadelphia Phillies and St. Louis Cardinals during that year. Definitely the Cardinals. Actually, I don't know what the Phillies actually. It was definitely the Cardinals. But just I don't know why he's kept that in place. And also he hates teams that spend money. Like he wants to put like a salary cap. Like I don't understand. Like I don't mind him putting a salary cap. He's always like talking down to teams like the Dodgers and the Mets to spend a lot of money. Like who cares, dude? He's also very arrogant. Comes off as very arrogant. I don't like him at all. None of the players respect him. I've never heard a player say one good thing about him. They've definitely said a lot of bad things about him. Never heard someone say a good thing about him. Don't know why he puts the 3 batter roll in. I get you trying to speed up the game, but you can't mess up the flow of the game, which I think that does. Like, all right, yes, if they finish the inning only getting one or two outs, so they can come out, but I don't get it. It was more exciting when you had those left-handed relievers who come in, face one batter and come out. Don't know why you put that in. This whole jersey fiasco. They made new jerseys. Those like cheap knockoff. All the players said they're not kind of really don't fit. Like you bring in over like $8-10 billion in revenue every year, and you can't make adequate jerseys for your players. That is just absolutely embarrassing. Also look, most commissioners are great. Adam Silver's done some nice things, but recently I haven't loved what he's been doing. Gary Bettman's been getting a lot of flack. No one really likes him. Roger Goodell, outside of he brings in a lot of ratings, which really is I don't really think is even a product of him. It's a product of just the NFL being the NFL. Because obviously everyone loves football. He's not very well respected. Don't think he's done a good job. So very few commissioners have been good. Like the greatest commissioner of all time was David Stern. And even he had his worst. The whole thing with the nixing the trade when Chris Paul was going to go to the Lakers because he technically owns the Charlotte Hornets at the time because the team was they're trying to sell their team. And amongst other things. Though overall, he was very good, and he's probably the greatest commissioner of all time. Obviously, a great man. Rest in peace, David Stern. But even he wasn't perfect. So none of them are great. And problem with Manfred, I feel like he kind of kisses up to the owners a little bit, and I can see why a guy in his position would side with the owners more often than not. I can see why to an extent, and that he works for the owners, and the players work for the owners. So. It's like, all right, there's the owners who he works for and the players who work for the people that he works for. I can see why he'd stop the owners, at times, but you gotta have some respect for the players. They're the product. They're the ones that are out there playing, and the reason that your ratings are going to be sky high or in the ground. Like you're living or dying with those players. So just not the captain of the ship. You gotta be a leader. As a commissioner of a major sports league, and he just isn't that. So Rob Manfred is stepping down after 2029. Thank goodness, because he was not very good as a commissioner. Hope you guys like this video. Until next time, so long, and have a great day.